立法會主席。
Speech by the Chief Secretary for Administration regarding the Government Minute and the Legislative Council. President, tabled today is the Government Minute responding to Report number 75A of Public Accounts Committee presented to Legislative Council on 12th of May 2021. I welcome the report and I'm grateful for the efforts devoted by Chairman Honorable Abraham Sheck and members of P.A.C. on it. The government accepts the recommendations and set out in the detail in the GM the specific responses of the relevant bureau and departments. The report of P.A.C. provides recommendations in areas relating to 3 chapters in Director of Audit's Report number 75, namely collection and removal of marine refuse by a marine department, the government's efforts in tackling shoreline refuse, efforts of the Home Affairs Department in facilitating building management. I'd like to highlight the key measures taken and progress made by the relevant government departments and organizations in response to the recommendations. Collection and removal of marine refuse by MD. As pointed out in the P.A.C. report, there were inadequacies in the administration of marine refuse cleansing and disposal contract by MD, and there was room for improvement in monitoring of marine refuse cleansing and disposal services. Prior to P.A.C. public hearing, MD had introduced various improvement measures, such as surprise checks to monitor performance of contractor in reporting the quantity of marine refuse collected, requesting the contractor to maintain proper records of the refuse transportation vehicle's daily logbooks, recovering from the contractor of the Typo District contract the overpaid disposal charges at the refuse transfer stations, and strengthening monitoring of contractors' management of marine refuse collection points. The P.A.C. has acknowledged the improvement measures to improve management of marine refuse. Starting from 1st January 2021, the MD has followed the practice of International Maritime Organization to measure the quantity of refuse collected from sea and vessels by volume in cubic meters. MD has also stepped up inspections on procedures for disposing marine refuse by the contractor at the MRCPs. In response to P.A.C.'s recommendations, MD is also actively exploring the adoption of other performance indicators in its controlling officer's report to reflect effectiveness of marine refuse cleansing. With respect to tender invitation for marine refuse, MD will make reference to recommendations of the Central Tender Board, including allowing a longer tender period to prepare proposals, shortening the contract period to allow more flexibility, so that the tendering process for future contracts can allow more competition and making the most cost-effective tender award. To strengthen monitoring work over collection and removal of marine refuse, MD will deploy patrol officers to conduct surprise checks on priority areas and MRCPs. Should the Marine Department notice that the contractor is in breach of relevant contractual requirements, Marine Department will promptly investigate and take necessary action, such as imposing penalties as per the terms of the contract, and make claims against the contractor for administration costs. The relevant breach will also be properly recorded in writing. Furthermore, the Marine Department has put in place a number of new initiatives on marine refuse cleansing. For instance, since March 2021, the Kuntong Typhoon Shelter has intercepted floating refuse, and drones have been deployed since April 21 to enhance the monitoring of sea surface cleanliness. Marine Department will continue to explore with the contractor the wider application of information technology to enhance the daily management and monitoring of marine refuse cleansing. On the enforcement side, to tackle marine littering, about 30% of Marine Department's anti-marine littering enforcement operations have been conducted by plainclothes officers starting from 2021. Apart from improvement measures on administration and operational aspects, the Environment Bureau and Marine Department will continue to step up efforts in promotion and education. The MD will actively follow up the recommendations, and the Environment Bureau will closely monitor the progress. Regarding government's efforts in tackling shoreline refuse, in response to P.A.C's recommendations, the Interdepartmental Working Group on Marine Environmental Management, steered by the Environmental Bureau, has adopted the EPD's shoreline cleanliness grading system as the standard to monitor cleanup work of the departments concerned. The relevant departments will also, based on the inspection results, in taking timely follow-up action and the management of cleansing contractors for better performance. The Environment Bureau will continue to provide necessary policy in the working group. The government also noted the P.A.C's emphasis on need for specific and measurable performance target and timetable for improvement cleanliness of shorelines. There have been visible improvements in shoreline in recent years. The working group will continue to explore feasible options of setting a specific and measurable performance target for monitoring the progress of the collaborative efforts of the member departments in future. Regarding P.A.C's recommendation of assigning a department to take up responsibility on the cleanliness of shoreline areas which do not fall within the purview of any bureau or department, the Task Force on Marine Refuse under the working group has agreed that EPD will continue to coordinate joint departmental in-depth cleanup operations to deal with refuse accumulation problems at individual, remote, and back-of-beach areas. EPD will also deploy unmanned aircraft system and helicopter flights flexibly to extend the coverage of inspection to remote shorelines more effectively. Furthermore, the government has taken actions in response to other key recommendations of P.A.C. and Audit Commission. For example, EPD has reviewed the list of marine refuse priority sites and uploaded their respective cleanliness grading with photos onto the Clean Shoreline website, and will continue to update the information on a quarterly basis so as to enhance public awareness on keeping the cleanliness of shorelines. Meanwhile, the working group has established direct communication channels with mainland authority for handling matters related to marine refuse incidents and alerting each other in a timely manner to expedite cleanup actions. EPD will continue to enhance its education and promotion work and engage the public when appropriate. Keeping the shoreline clean is of paramount importance to maintaining Hong Kong's image as a metropolitan and vibrant city. The government will accord priority to this ongoing task on a long-term basis. Regarding the work on building management, Home Affairs Department has been assisting owners of private buildings to form owners corporations under the Building Management Ordinance Cap 344 and provide various support services on building management. At present, various bureau and departments regulate different building-related areas such as building safety and fire safety in accordance with relevant legislation. Meanwhile, Home Affairs Department has been working closely with these bureau and departments to provide support to owners and residents of private buildings. For example, Home Affairs Department has since 2018 been hosting the Central Platform on Building Management regularly, where representatives of relevant departments and organizations are invited to introduce their support services on building management and maintenance to owners and OCs. Recently, Home Affairs has also assisted the Security Bureau and Fire Services Department in procurement of portable firefighting equipment, which will be distributed to owners and residents of 3 new buildings in pilot districts through the relevant district fire safety committees. HAD will continue to work closely with Bureau and departments. HAD has been actively following up the recommendations made by the P.A.C. and Audit Commission. P.A.C. has recommended in its report that HAD should step up efforts in taking forward the Building Management Professional Advisory Service Scheme, including engaging community organizations with extensive network with local residents to reach out to owners or residents of 3 new buildings. In light of P.A.C.'s recommendation, Home Affairs will introduce a pilot scheme under the scheme to recruit community non-governmental organizations and through their district network contact and reach out to owners of 3 new buildings with a view to encouraging the formation of OCs. Apart from assisting the formation of OCs, the community NGO will also assist in the recruitment of resident liaison ambassadors. Regarding internal guidelines, the HAD has issued to district building management liaison teams new guidelines in relation to the requirements on frequency of liaison record keeping and visit procedures. It's also updated the operation manual on building management for liaison officers. The new guidelines and revised manual provide DBMLTs with further guidance on their liaison with owners or management bodies of private buildings. In addition, HAD has implemented a number of measures to strengthen support services. For example, in respect of the Central Platform on Building Management, HAD has expanded the geographical coverage of briefing sessions and made sessions available. HAD will also adopt measures to enhance the attendance rate of training programs for members of management committees of OCs. With reference to recommendations from P.A.C. and Audit Commission, HAD will continue to enhance support to owners of private buildings and assist them in discharging their building management responsibilities. President, I'd like to thank Chairman and members of P.A.C. for their efforts and guidance. The concerned Bureau, departments, and organizations will strictly adhere to their responses in the GM and implement government improvement measures as soon as possible. Thank you, President.
Questions. Question 1, Mr. Horace Chan.